Tech Collective, and on behalf of the Tech Collective, I'd like to thank you all for attending this morning. Microsoft Teams, the new lifeblood of your business. We're all looking forward to this, as so many of us use this very powerful tool and are really underutilizing it. We're grateful. This morning we have some huge teams from APSO, Amica, and National Marker. So looking forward to hearing from all of you afterwards how it really worked for you as a team coming to this event. Tech Collective has been working to really change our programming through this time of COVID to bring you the information and the training that you need via virtual platforms. So we're grateful for all of you being here. We're providing training in cyber, in data, in technical tools such as Microsoft Teams, as well as in several of the softer and essential skills. We're providing a Mindful Monday, some techniques on dealing with stress in your workday. So please look to our website for upcoming events. And one of the big programs that we're working on right now is working with Commerce RI as well as Venture Cafe to help our small businesses that didn't have any virtual or online presence really get up and running, so these businesses can stay as part of the Rhode Island landscape. So if you are willing or able to give and volunteer some time, some technical time for these companies, please reach out to me after this seminar and I'll be happy to get you in touch with the people that can help you to do that volunteerism. Right now, I'd like to get ready to hand it over to our presenters. Eric Shorr is the founder and president of Secure Futures Tech Solutions. They've been a member of the Tech Collective for quite some time. We're grateful to him for sharing his knowledge on Microsoft Teams. And just a little background on Secure Future Tech Solutions. They're an IT services and consulting company that specializes in law firms, property management companies, and small businesses. And Lisa Shorr is going to come right on and give us some housekeeping tips. And Lisa is the vice president of Secure Futures. So thank you both for giving of your time and sharing your expertise with us today.
It's a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much, Monica. Eric and I are honored and pleased to share what we've learned about Microsoft Teams, and we call this the new lifeblood of your business, because truthfully, the way that we're all working now, having this kind of connectedness is crucial. So I'm Lisa Shorr, and I just want to give you a couple of housekeeping tips here. Number one, everybody is muted. So please, please, please put your questions in the Q&A. We have reserved time at the end for Eric to answer all of your questions, but I don't want you to forget them. So please make sure you put your questions in the Q&A box throughout. Number two, grab a pen and paper, because inevitably Eric is going to mention something, a concept, or something that you're going to want to research or watch a tutorial on later. And I don't want you to forget, there's going to be so much information shared today. So please, please get your pen and paper and grab and whatever way you write your notes, and let's get this going. I want to make this interactive. So Eric, we have a poll question for everybody. So let's start with the poll. Go right ahead, Eric.
So we'd like to know how many of you out there have been actively using Teams before the crisis hit. So if we can take a minute to fill that out, that'd be great. I have a guilty confession to make. Is that okay if I share something with you guys? So
Absolutely,
at Secure
Eric.
Future, we were using Teams, and we still are, but I was using Teams really just for the chat function with my team. And we weren't really taking advantage of all the amazing stuff that's built into this that we're going to talk about today. So that's my little confession. Today, because of the COVID crisis and because everybody is working from home in my company, now we're utilizing many more of the amazing features with Teams. So why don't we give this a few more seconds? If everybody could participate, I have 36 out of the 52 attendees who have voted. Really interesting so far. I'll share it in a second. We'll give it another 10 seconds. So if you can fill out the poll, that'd be great. All right, I'm gonna wrap up the poll and let's share the results. So pretty interesting, right? So 43% of our audience wasn't really actively using Teams. About 37% of the audience was actively using Teams, so that's fantastic. I think Microsoft Teams is probably or was one of the most underrated Microsoft products that many of us had and weren't even using. I can't begin to tell you how many people that I'm talking to on a daily basis where I'm doing Teams meetings all day long now with my clients, and many of them were not familiar with Teams, or they haven't used Zoom in the past as well. So I think that's really interesting. So let's get started. So let me close this down as well. So you heard a little bit about me. I started Secure Future Tech 28 years ago. I've been on the national speaking circuit where I've presented to audiences all over the country. I am now volunteering with Commerce Eye as well. And as Monica mentioned earlier, anybody out there that wants to help small businesses, you can volunteer, even if it's just an hour of your time to help a small business get up to speed using Teams or Zoom or any other questions as well. I'm an executive board member for several nonprofits. And most importantly, I've been involved with Tech Collective pretty much, I think, from the beginning. It's been definitely over 10 years. I've lost track at how long I've been involved with Tech Collective. So I am thrilled to be here today. So let's give a quick overview. So we'll talk briefly about Office 365, and then we'll talk about how to access Teams, because we're going to focus on Teams today. We'll discuss what is a team versus what is a channel. Then we'll look at chatting and using post images and how to share files. And then we'll also take a look at how to set up a meeting through the calendar that's built into Teams. Another great feature is audio and video calling as well, so we'll talk about that. And then I will share some additional training resources for you so that after this webinar today, if you want to learn more about Teams, I have a great resource at Microsoft. So let's talk very briefly about Microsoft Office 365. So Microsoft Office 365 is Microsoft's online application that includes everything from email, using any device from anywhere, which is really cool. So Office 365 works from a web browser. It works from your laptop, your desktop, your iPhone, your iPad, your Droid device, any device you can use Office 365 on. Many of the Office 365 plans also include applications. And when I'm talking about applications, I'm talking about Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, Teams. There's two versions of that with Office 365. There's the online variety, where there's online only apps where you use a web browser to pull up a quick spreadsheet and you can design things that way. Or you have the full-blown applications, which you can download to your computer, your PC, or your Mac as well. Teams, of course, which we're going to be focusing on today as well. And Teams is a great tool, which we'll get involved in. It's so much more than chat and audio and video calls. You can even do file sharing and collaborate. And there are also a ton, and I mean a ton, of other applications on the Microsoft Store that you can add as well. And then as part of Office 365, OneDrive as well, which is a file sharing application. It's similar to Dropbox, but it's built right into Office 365. So let's go over Microsoft Teams. The great news is, if many of you are Microsoft Office 365 customers, which certainly a good part of the world is today, you already have Teams. You may not even know it. It's built right into the system. You just have to download it and install it. So Teams is a great collaboration tool. It has chat built into it. So at Secure Future Tech, for the last couple of years, actually, we've been using the chat function. So all of my engineers at Secure Future Tech communicate with my service dispatcher and my service manager, and they could chat all day long. And that works out great and much better than email because it's instant communication, and it keeps track of the entire conversation in a message thread, which is fantastic. So chat's built into Teams. Also video conferencing, audio calls are built into Teams. Document sharing is built into Teams. You can have online meetings as well. And something I just figured out the other day when I was doing some research for doing this particular workshop is you can do webinars through Teams as well too. So that's another feature that I don't think many of us actually realize that you could do that. It's not just for online meetings, but you can do webinars as well. And Teams will work across any device that you have. There's great mobile apps. So when you're on the go, you can keep touch with your team. And even if you don't have your regular computer and you want to log in through a web browser, Teams will work there as well. So now, are you eligible for Teams? That is a great question. And that's something that I want to talk about. So if you have Microsoft Office 365 right now, there's a variety of different Microsoft licenses and plans. And quite frankly, I think you're a PhD to understand all these different plans because they get confusing. But essentially, there's some small business plans, the Business Premium and the Business Essentials plan, and then also the corporate plans, the E1, the E3, or the E5 plans. They all have the full-blown version of Microsoft Teams built into it, which has all the features that we're talking about today. Now, the other day, or maybe a week or two ago, the governor got online and promised Microsoft Office for free to everyone. And I want to actually clarify that offer. So Microsoft is actually offering a free E1 license. That's a trial license for 6 months for anyone that does not currently have an Office 365 license or account. So if you're already in an organization that is currently using Office 365, you can't get it for free. But this really applies to people that maybe you're using an alternative platform right now from Google or wherever, and you want to switch to Microsoft. They are giving you a E1 license. Now, the E1 license is a little bit limited, and it's only online versions of all the applications and email. So you cannot download the full-blown applications to your desktop with E1, but it's something there that it's a good way to get started. Now, Teams, Microsoft Teams, is the thing that Microsoft has made available for free to everyone that wants it. But once again, there's a little caveat here to this. The free version is more limited. It is not the full-blown version. So I want everybody to really understand it doesn't include calendaring, which prevents someone from scheduling a meeting with someone. You can still do a meeting with your team. Immediately, you can get together with them, but you can't send out a meeting request and schedule a meeting out. And I think that's really a big feature that's missing out of the free version as well. And there are also some calling functions and some other things that are missing from the free version. And the free version also has a limit on team size. So if you have a larger organization with hundreds of people that you want to collaborate on Teams, the free version isn't for you. You really need to go out and buy probably the E3 version, and then you'll be able to get the full capabilities. Now, there are some additional training resources. Once you get off of this webinar, and if you'd like to learn more, Microsoft has additional free training available. And what I like about this training here is these are all 2-minute long videos. So if you wanted to learn more about starting chats and making calls, you can go and watch a video. So everybody take a screenshot of this particular link. We can also share the slide deck later with you so you all have it. So we'll make sure that you get that link as well. But take a picture of this, and then they're great little videos. I've gone through all of them. They really are helpful. And I even learned a couple things, some new things as well. Now, how do I access Teams from my computer? So there is a variety of ways that you can access Microsoft Teams, which is really cool. So there really isn't an excuse, I'm sorry, to be not connected to your office. So if you are already a Microsoft Office 365 customer, you can log into your account going to portal.microsoft.com, and there is a button right here that says Install Office. And then you can, if you have the E3 or the E5 or the Small Business Premium versions of Microsoft Office, you can install the full-blown applications onto your PC or Mac, including Microsoft Teams. So that's the first way to do it. So you can log in, install all of your applications. Most of my clients, we always sell the version with the applications because it's just so much more flexible. But if you don't have the application plan where you have a more basic plan, there are other alternatives. Or if you're just on a guest computer somewhere and you want to check in with your team, you can pull it up online. So now a caveat to Microsoft Teams is that it only will work online with Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. So Microsoft Edge is Microsoft's new web browser that's out there. It's actually it runs off of the Google Chrome engine, believe it or not. So Microsoft licensed some of the technology from Google to make their browser. So you can log into Microsoft Teams by going to teams.microsoft.com. Just so you know, if you're running a Mac, it won't work properly on Safari. But the good news is you can download a version of Google Chrome for your Mac as well. So that's really important. As you can see here, we can get to it from a web browser. And when we do our demo today, I will log into Lisa has another business, by the way, Shorr Success, which is her consulting practice, her image consulting practice, where she works with businesses. And I will show you her Teams account. A great thing that we've been doing, like I mentioned earlier, we weren't using Teams to its full potential until recently. So when we all started working from home, because we have a great office right in Warwick, and we all were accustomed to seeing each other every day, so it wasn't a big deal to stay in touch because we saw each other. But what we implemented using Teams was we did a video chat every morning. So every morning at 9 a.m., just for a few minutes, it's not a long call, we check in with everybody. So we're doing a daily huddle, and we go around and we check and we see how everybody's doing, or see if anybody has anything to share, anything positive. We're trying to stick to positive stuff. And we're doing that through the calling function. So I have a scheduled, that's what I mean about the free version. You can't do this on a free version. It would have to be an impromptu call on a free version. But on the paid version, you can schedule a call. So we have a recurring call that's on everybody's calendar every morning at 9 a.m. And so we're doing a great daily huddle. Okay, so we are going to jump into the good stuff. I would love to share with you a quick demo of Teams. So go ahead, Lisa.
Just want to remind everybody, number one, take a screenshot of this page, because if you have questions post-webinar today, please reach out to us. On the homepage of our website is Eric's calendar, is a link to Eric's calendar. You can schedule a couple of minutes to chat with him. There's his phone number, a phone number, email. We just want to make it so that if we don't answer all of your questions today, you can do that. So take a quick screenshot of this. And a reminder to continue. I do see one question in the Q&A, so we're going to answer those at the end, but please continue to put questions in the Q&A throughout. All right, take it away, Eric.
Great. Yeah, we have a great audience today. So we're up to 62 people online, so that's awesome. So yeah, let's get into the demo. So everybody take a question, put your questions in. Obviously, feel free to email me at eshorr@securafuturetech.com. I'm available. I'm working from home. I'd love to have your questions, actually. So it would give me lots of good stuff to do to help you guys out today. So what we're going to do is now we are going to share, and we're going to do a live demo. So we'll see how that goes today. Hopefully my kids aren't on Netflix using up all the bandwidth today. So we'll see. We already warned them, by the way. Lisa and I warned them to say, stay off for an hour. Okay,
I did
because
ask
they're,
them to give us time, Eric.
yes, absolutely. So I have already logged into Microsoft Teams using my web browser. I'm using an Apple Macintosh, and I have downloaded Google Chrome because like I mentioned earlier, it won't work on properly on Safari. I think Microsoft is working on that, and it'll probably be added at some point. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to give you a quick overview of how Teams actually works, and I want to clarify a couple of things about Teams versus channels. So I think that's really the first important component. So what is a team? So a team is a group of people that are going to be collaborating and working together. It could be from everyone from the same company. It could be a company-wide team. And at Secure Future Tech, we have a team that is for everybody in that in our company. It also could be a team with outside people as well. So let's say you're working on a project with a customer. You could create a team where you have some internal employees, some clients as well. So everyone can work together, which I think is really fantastic, because when you're collaborating and servicing your clients, you can create a team. You could create a team with your CPA, with your attorney, whatever it is that you're working on. Major accounts, you could create a team as well. And so Lisa's company, Shorr Success, has a general team that's set up right here. And there's every team, when it gets set up, there's a general channel. Now, the general channel is where you could put announcements in. So hello everyone, welcome to our group. You can put all sorts of, you can link files to the general channel. So anyone that's joining that, where you want to have information that's accessible to everyone, you could put it in the general group. Now a channel, so you've created a team. A team is a group of people that want to work together. So a channel is a series of topics. So I also created a Tech Collective training group team. Okay, so that's the first thing as well. And then I have a general channel here as well, but I also just created a group or a channel right here called Microsoft Teams. So this particular channel that we're going to be doing is dedicated toward working together to put on this training. So we could put conversations in here as well. It's fantastic. And it can be used for a particular topic. So let's say now that at Lisa's group, Lisa at Shorr Success, she also wants to create another channel under Tech Collective Training Group. So Microsoft Teams is our first channel. Our second one will be, let's add another channel. So what you do is you click on the 3 dots right here next to your team, and then you say add channel. And now our next training, does anybody have any ideas on what we should be doing next? Let's see, maybe we should do a training on Zoom. Zoom is another fantastic tool that we've been using to host webinars as well. So we will do Zoom training. All right, Zoom training. So now we put the description in, and we want to select our privacy settings. If you want everyone that's been invited to the Tech Collective training group to be in on this particular team or channel, I'm sorry, you could select standard, accessible to everyone. Now, if you want to break off a subsection, you can do private. Now, private will allow you to select who is going to have access to the particular channel. So for this group, I only want Lisa Shorr to have access to this particular channel. We can invite everybody else, but this is really just a demo, so we'll just do that. So we'll add Lisa as president of Shorr Success into this particular Zoom training. So I guess, Lisa, you're going to be doing the Zoom training maybe next week. All right, so there we go. So we added that in, and as you can see, there's a little lock next to this particular channel. So only right now, Lisa Shorr has access to this channel. I'm sure she'll be inviting Monica later, and maybe me to it later as well, so we can all collaborate. So that's teams versus channels. So teams are groups of people that are going to be working together, and channels are topics. All right, so let's go on next to chat. So now chat is a really interesting feature because you can use chat to talk to people all day long. So if you are in a channel, you can start up a conversation with everyone in that particular channel. So I'd like to discuss training. So now you can chat. You can also, what I love about chat as well is you can also format your chats. So if you wanted to get a little fancier, this is a little built-in word processor, which I love. So you can do that. You can send emojis as well. Hey, I think this is great. So that is chat. The great thing about chat and why this is so much better for collaboration than email is your entire chain on this particular thread, in this particular case, Microsoft Teams is included in here. So if you have a new member of the group join, they can look back at the thread and see the conversation. And so this gets everybody up to speed. New employees can get up to speed. And I don't know about you, but I have 100,000 pieces of email in my inbox and I can't find anything in there. It's very difficult. So Teams makes it incredibly easy to use. You can also post files as well. So we're going to talk about that next. So if you want to post a file to this particular channel, so that means that a file will be listed there. You can click on the files menu choice right here. And as you can see, I have already uploaded some files to the Microsoft Teams channel, including our final presentation for today, because we were working on that. And then also I put together a cheat sheet of training notes. This comes from Microsoft. And if you want to be able to collaborate on that with other members of the team, you can click on it. And this will open it up right, and the online Word shows up in Teams. And then you can make edits, and you can all collaborate together. How cool is that? So you don't even have to go to SharePoint or Dropbox or anywhere else. You can collaborate and work in Teams all day long, and multiple people can make edits, and you can put stuff into chat as well. So that's how you share files. So let's go back to our channels right here. So Microsoft Teams. Now the next thing that I want to show everyone is, let's say I want to get everybody together on a meeting. So what we can do is, let's see here, my calendar invite. Actually, I don't see my calendar invite right now for whatever reason. So we're going to have to do that. But on the paid version of Teams, and quite frankly, I'm not sure why that's not showing up right now. You can, let's see here, we'll do this. There will be a calendar button right here, and the calendar button will then allow you to schedule either a meeting invite, where you can invite the entire team or individuals as well, or you can also create a live meeting request. And a live meeting is very similar to a webinar, and it works very similarly to Zoom. I will tell you, Zoom is a much more robust product. There's a lot more stuff built into it, but there are things that can be used. There are things that you can be used in I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go on right now. We could do audio and video calling. That is the next slide. right now audio and video calling. So if you wanted to call somebody as well, you can use Teams you can create speed dials for commonly used people as well. You can also, right here, Lisa Shorr is available. I can call her as well. I can click on the button, and as you can see, I am now calling Lisa as well. So hi, Lisa. All right, we'll hang up there as well. So Lisa, so that can be used for both audio calling and video calling. If you are using the paid version of Teams, you can also send out meeting invites and calls to any of your clients as well, which I've been meeting with my clients all day long. So that's fantastic as well. So those are the basics. So we've covered calling, we've covered files. On this sidebar right here is the files button as well. And there will be a bunch of files that are listed right here. So this is also another way to get to your files that are shared with everyone on the team. So you can very quickly and easily get to that. So I can see right now that we have a variety of questions. So Lisa, do you want to lead us through some of the questions? Yeah,
Right
let's save
now,
time for
yes.
that.
Nice job, and I think this will also add to the demonstration. So there are 11 questions so far. So here we go. And guys, please, and whoever's here, if you have another question and we didn't answer it yet, please put it in the Q&A and we're just gonna go scrolling through. So the first question, Eric, that came in is, can the scheduled calls and Teams be added to Outlook? That's a good question.
Yes, fantastic question. So yes, the answer is that you will have, when you create a meeting in Outlook, there will be a button to add a Microsoft Teams meeting. And then what will happen is the Teams meeting link will get inserted right into the body of your email. And you can also set it up with a call-in number as well. That's an extra feature that you do have to pay for, but we have that up so there can be a call-in number too. And I think that's really important because people do sometimes have trouble connecting. Maybe they don't have a webcam or audio on their computer, but they still want to participate in the phone call. So you can add a dial-in number and then they can have full audio and then still see video as well. So great question. Thank you for that.
So this is another audio question, and maybe you just answered a portion of it, but we've noticed when using Teams, there is confusion over the audio portion. So it does not seem like all folks can hear and speak directly from Teams. How do you recommend handling?
So I think we should go back to that, getting Teams set up for that dial-in phone number. I think that's really important. And that's something that whoever you get your Office 365 through, you should be able to talk to them about adding the audio license to Microsoft Teams. So that way, if someone is having trouble with their microphone or they don't have a webcam on their computer, but they still want to use Teams, you can have them just dial a Rhode Island phone number, or wherever you are. You can get a phone number from whatever state that you're in. That's a local phone number. So that's what I would recommend to do, is add the dial-in phone number as well to make it easy for people to connect. That's something that I did the other day because I was having a Teams meeting with a client of mine. He's a dentist and he had never been on Teams before, and he was trying to connect through his computer, but he didn't realize he needed to have speakers and a microphone and all that stuff. So I directed him to the call-in phone number, and then we had the team meeting as planned.
That's great. And I'm glad you gave that example as well. So here's something, Eric, that we've talked about in our office, and I believe that there isn't an answer yet for this. How do I get more than 4 people on the screen?
You don't. That's a limitation right now of Teams. That's one of the reasons why I like Zoom for bigger meetings. If you want to have multiple people on video at the same time. Microsoft is working on it, but they haven't announced when they're going to be able to add to that capacity.
So I'm going to skip one question and come back to it, but Peter asked a question, since you mentioned Zoom. Why are we using Zoom for the demo rather than Teams today? And are there features of Zoom that make it better for some use cases? So you already answered one. For larger teams, you can see more people in Zoom. than you can in Teams.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So Teams does have the capability of doing what's called a live meeting when that's their webinar. It's not fully built out as much as Zoom. So I love the capabilities of Zoom. It allows better video, better recording options, polling. Teams is working on that. And quite certainly, if you want to do a webinar and you already own the Microsoft Teams license and you don't want to spend additional money for Zoom, you can try Teams, it'll work. But we are, Lisa and I do a lot of webinars and we rely on Zoom every day to do webinars. So we're sticking with that. But if something changes and Microsoft continues to innovate, which they're making changes and improving Teams every day, we will definitely consider switching. But great question. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'd love that question. And it totally held us to task too. So that was great. And do you happen to know, so Ed was asking, and I don't know if we know this, if we know the answer, does Teams, do the webinars in Teams, Eric, do they save so that people can watch them later? Can you record them just like you do Zoom?
You can record them, but then you'd have to upload the recording to YouTube or somewhere else to be able to play it, where Zoom has some capabilities where they can store their recordings in the cloud and then you can use it for playback there. Typically what we've been doing with some of our webinars is we have been uploading them to our YouTube channel to make them available to everybody. And that's probably the easiest way to share a webinar or videos, is just uploading it to YouTube.
Excellent. Let's see. So I'm working on a Mac. So Leslie's asking, I'm working on a Mac. And once I had access to my desktop at work, once I had access to my desktop at work here at home, Teams would not work for me. I have to log off, and then I had to download the Teams app on my Mac, and that's the only way I can get it to work.
So if you are remotely accessing your computer from home to work, and then you're trying to use the video functions of Teams through your remote access connection, it will not work properly. That's correct, because video has a hard time coming across a remote connection like that. It's not possible to do it right now. So that's the answer. You've already discovered it. You've already solved your own problem. You just download the Teams app right to your Mac, or you can log in through any web portal, and then you can use it natively that way.
You've got to work from the local computer. Right?
Yes, you have to work from the local computer when you're doing video. If you're just relying on it for chat or file sharing, then you can access it through a remote desktop or log me in or whatever your favorite thing is. But if you're relying on it for video, your video will not come across properly.
Excellent. Good job, guys. There's so many great questions. Can channels exclude some people on the team?
Yes. Yeah, so what we can do, and I can show everybody how to do that again. So we could go into Teams. We could go in, let's see, we could go into Teams, and then we have I created a team for Zoom. So that might be the next training. We'll see. So anyway, Zoom right here. So what you can do is I made it a private group, and then you can control members here. So you can add, it's a private channel. So only when you create a private channel, only the members of the team that you want to be in on that channel will have access to it. So the security is very good. That's correct.
And so I think you're controlling who. So it's not like you're inviting a blanket group of people. You're controlling who you're adding to the group. So
that's correct. Yeah.
Great.
So you just add the member, and I think Lisa's already part of this particular channel, so it will tell you that as well. So if I have other members, but not everyone in the group can get into it. And you'll notice that by the little lock that's right next to the channel name.
Let's see, can you edit the privacy option of a channel after it has been created? So can you take that Zoom privacy lock and edit that, Eric?
So yeah, I mean, you can manage the channel, which means you can add different members, or You can change the permissions. There's all kinds of flexibility involved in permissions on the particular channels. Yeah, so you can open that up. You can add everybody back in, and that'll make it a more accessible channel if that's what you want to do.
Is there an easy way to search for an old topic posted in a channel?
Yes, there's a search box right up here, and then you can type in whatever you're looking for, and it'll bring up a thread. So I typed in Lisa, and then this will show me all the messages where Lisa is mentioned. You can do topics, it's a general search box, so you can pretty much look for anything right through the search box, and you can find all the different topics or file names or whatever it is you're looking for.
Awesome. And if Eric hasn't fully answered your question, everybody, please, put a clarifying statement in there, but we still have lots more to go. So do you run the risk of editing over each other when working on a shared file? Have we experienced that?
Well, we haven't experienced that, but it's the way that it works. It's it keeps track of all the changes. So when you're working on a file together, you'll see who made the edits and who did different things when working together.
Okay.
Let's see here if I can show you really quickly. So when we're keeping, it does keep track of changes, so it will be able to tell you. You can also put comments in and create a conversation on this particular application or on this particular file, so that you can keep track of who's doing what.
Okay. Can you share your desktop with a team without running a video chat?
You could do an audio chat. And then you could share the desktop through a Teams audio call. It's based, from what I understand, it's based on either an audio or a video call where you can share a desktop that way.
Great. How do you change the corporate culture to use chat instead of email?
I think a lot of us have been forced into this. I know at Secure Future, we're really leveraging it now because we were all kind of forced into it. And I think one of the things that needs to happen is a lot of train people on Teams, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of it. And human nature, people don't like change. But once you start showing people the functions and the capabilities of what it can do, it can be great. So I think if you have a particular group of people working together on something, say, hey, from now on, all communication is going to go through this channel and Microsoft Teams. Start small and then expand it to the entire organization from there.
And if I can expand on that, Eric, also, it always has to start with leadership. So when it changed in our company, Eric made the decision to use the chat function in Teams, and he showed consistency using it. So, and he set the tone. So in all of your organizations, large or small, the manager of that group has to start the initiative and consistently use it if they want to see change from the rest of the team. So it always starts from leadership down, and that's how many of our clients, as well as our company, initiated the change and the culture shift to using Teams. It has to start at the top and then work its way down.
Excellent questions today, everybody.
Yeah, these are great. There's still more, Eric. So grab a drink of water.
Keep them rolling. I'm here for
What
you.
are some useful add-ons? So add-ons, we should talk about add-ons with the plus button there, Eric, for Microsoft Teams. Thank you for asking that question, Brandon.
So Microsoft has this whole application store, the Microsoft Store, where you can add additional things into Teams. So if you click on this button right here, you can add different tabs, and they have all kinds of applications that you can add into Teams. they have an application for Zoom, they have an application for YouTube, and so it makes it easier for people to not leave Teams and be able to get access to other things as well. So if I wanted to add Word, I could do that, and then you can add that in and then save it into your toolbar. So there's all kinds of different applications. There's hundreds and hundreds of different applications that can be added. You can even, let's say, if you wanted to go to the general tab and then add in weather. They have a weather app. So if you want people to be able to see the weather, let's see. We'll add weather for the office. Uh-oh, it's going to rain today. I'm sorry, everybody. So there are different applications that you can add right into Teams. It's fantastic. It's a very flexible tool. And like I mentioned earlier, I didn't really have a very good understanding of all the extra stuff that Teams could do until I really started using it. And so I encourage all of you, check out the apps, check out the different things that you can add, or talk to your owner of your particular group, because the owner has to add things in, and then go from there.
Okay, let's see. So Kathy's asking, can you chat during a meeting and or take meeting notes during the meeting?
Yep, you can do that as well. So you can definitely do chats during the meeting as well. There are other ways of taking notes. You could add in OneNote as well. So OneNote is a fantastic tool that you could use in your fetching notebooks. You can create a notebook in OneNote where you can make more extensive notes. Or there's a feature called Wiki. So there's a wiki page right here that is unique to each channel. So on the general channel, notes from today's meeting. So you can take notes, and then people can go to the wiki tab and see the notes from the meeting. So you can do that as well. So it's very flexible, lots of different options, but really straightforward. And you don't have to leave Teams to do it, which is.
Love that. We're definitely showing how it's so important and such a great tool for us to collaborate, even if we're not physically connected in the same office. This is awesome. Okay, Brian's asking, when using a private channel, is the file storage stored and secured separately from non-private channels? Great question.
Yes. Yeah, so the answer is yes. So if you go into your private channel, like we started a channel for Zoom, and only right now Lisa is a member of this particular channel. When she clicks on the File tab, we don't have any files posted here right now, but once you do, these particular files are only accessible to Lisa or members of that particular channel. So it does stay separate from the other members of the team who are not part of that channel.
All right. Okay, so can someone in the private channel add additional people to the channel? So we did answer that, and the answer is definitely, and it's a manual entry.
If you are an owner of the channel,
right,
you can add additional users. If you are a member of the channel, like when I go to add members and I put in somebody, it'll give me two choices. It'll give me a choice: is this person an owner or a member? The owner is the administrator of that particular channel and add additional people. Or if it's a member, the member can participate, they can upload files, they can do chats and calls and everything, but they can't add or subtract members. Okay, so that's the member is the regular user. So typically you'll have one owner of the channel, or maybe a couple of owners of the channel, and the rest will be members.
Awesome. All right, a couple more. Following back up on audio, we do provide a conference line in addition to the Teams link. There is always someone who didn't use the conference line who can't be heard from Teams. Is there a setting or something we are doing wrong to have both Teams audio and conference line audio?
I suspect that the issue is more on the person that can't connect. They might have a trouble with their microphone, or there's something else going on. And I think you just need to privately maybe send them a message, because you can do that through chat as well, to say, hey, can you please call the dial-in phone number instead? So it's a training issue. As more and more people start using Teams, they're going to become more familiar with it. And the audio phone, that's why I always recommend adding the additional phone line to your Teams, so that everyone, if they need to, can call in as well.
Okay. And then what is the open in SharePoint for? Don't know. Is that question clear, Eric?
If you have a separate SharePoint site, so many, particularly bigger companies might have SharePoint, you can link your SharePoint to Teams. So if you have an existing SharePoint site where there's data and documents and things, you can open it directly into your particular channel. So that's what that's there for. I'm not currently using SharePoint, so I can't own anything to show you.
All right. And then the last one was just a comment about the calendar, Eric, and I'm not sure why ours isn't showing, but Jennifer suggests try clicking on the ellipses to see if the calendar icon displays.
You know what's really funny about that, and I'm sorry, it threw me off my game a little bit. I was just in the calendar, 10 minutes before the meeting, and then it just disappeared. There was a calendar icon that was right here that I was all excited to show you how to schedule a calendar, and it disappeared. I don't know, that's Microsoft. You know what? There are millions and millions of additional people using Microsoft Teams right now. And so at times there could be some things that are happening as Microsoft deals with that load. And that's something that I'm going to be looking in my admin console later to figure out what the heck happened. But you know what? That's when you do a live demo, that's something that happens. Even Bill Gates experienced a blue screen of death when he was promoting Windows 95. It's a YouTube video, and I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but it's really funny. And his computer crashed when he was doing a live demo. So you know what happened to me as well. So we'll move forward.
It happens. I thought that, I'm glad Jennifer, commented about it. Maybe we could bring it back. It's been an amazing collaboration tool for us to schedule meetings, have things on the calendar in advance, because we are so now inundated with all of these trainings, and everything is just now a collaborative talk, that our calendars are getting pretty full. So, so that it was important to see. One more question from Kathy, Eric. And by the way, we've already answered 20 questions.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Keep them coming. We have 7 more minutes
until
left.
11. Yeah, we have 7 more minutes. So if you have anything else, I know I have one more for you, Eric, but we'd love to just make this as comprehensive as possible for all of you. So Kathy is asking, can you talk about setting notifications? Are they at the top level, or do you have to go in each channel?
That's a really good question. I don't have a clear answer for you on that one. I think they're based on each channel. I would think that, each channel has its own notifications built in, because obviously if you're not in that channel, you're not part of the conversation, so you wouldn't get those notifications. But that's something that I'll get clarification for you on, and I can look into it and get back to you.
Let me make a note. All right. I made note of your name, Kathy, and we can shoot you an answer once we have an answer for you. So we can certainly get back to you. I made note of your name. Any other questions? Let me look at the chat just to see if we're missing anything. No. Okay. Nothing in. So thank you. You're welcome, Joe. Joe Devine's on the call today, so that's wonderful. Thank you for joining us today, Joe, and for having Eric and I be a part of this training and hopefully educating everybody on how to be connected, a connected workforce. Eric and I have been around for, our business has been around 28 years, and as an IT company, that's our mission. It's to ensure that our clients and Rhode Island in general is able to work and use technology as a tool for business growth. We're not just a technology vendor. We really try to be a business partner. And then, there's a couple more things. Okay, so there's some suggestions, Monica, by the way.
Yes,
Zoom would be a good discussion, a good session. Skype would be another good topic. Eric, are people still using Skype a lot?
Well,
or
so
is
the
Teams
interesting
new Skype?
the interesting thing about Skype is really being phased out, and many of the features are being built into Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft's roadmap is that Skype is end of life. They're still supporting it right now, but they're really pushing everybody and all of their resources into Teams.
And then and then Sarah said more about the apps that can be added, like the Weather Channel and what would be useful. So maybe, are there one or two other apps, Eric, that you can suggest? I mean, I know OneNote would be a good one if people are using collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of apps, and if you go into the toolbar on the left-hand side and you see there's a button for apps, you can scroll through and they have different topics, and they have hundreds and hundreds of different apps that you can add into Teams. It really is a collaborative environment. You can pretty much do your entire work inside of Teams, and they have all these different things that can work. So I encourage all of you to explore and see what you can find to be useful to you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you both, Eric and Lisa. This has been
It's been a pleasure.
Presentation, and I think we could probably, if we all had the day, we could probably sit within Teams and just keep learning and keep discovering more. So we look forward to future presentations, and for those of you who are in the room as attendees, if there are other topics that your team needs, whether within Microsoft or just general topics, please shoot me an email. We'll be happy to, find the right experts like we have today to present and get you that information that you need.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if you have any questions, let us know.